All right, this is a video I've been wanting to do for some time, and it's basically how much Bitcoin do you need to retire? Remember, you guys, I showed you a calculator that I made for the loans, and now we're going to dig into kind of like what the projected amount of Bitcoin you need to retire is. And it's going to be obviously based on a number of factors, but there's some neat tricks and tools out there that you can use to figure that out for yourself. So stay tuned.
Bitcoin is booming. Are you cashing in or missing out? At Drip2 BTC, we're rewriting the rules of Bitcoin investing. Earn up to 30% ROI on your deposits, unlock incredible Bitcoin discounts, and transform credit into up to 3,000% APR growth. No hassle, just real results. Don't wait, your future is one deposit away. Drip2BTC.com. Invest smart today.
Hey guys, welcome back. Drip Coach here with Drip and Farm for Property, where we don't trust, we verify, and operate with integrity and transparency. All right, so first and foremost, there is a online calculator out there called calc.bitcoineracademy.com, or you can just do a search for Bitcoin retirement calculator, and that'll probably show up. And I had already created my own in Python, which I'm going to show you. That's a lie. ChatGPT created it in Python. I do not code, but it did take a little bit of going back and forth, and I had to go with Grok as well to get some feedback. So AI is not quite there, but definitely far beyond what I would be able to do on my own in a matter of like 30 to 45 minutes. So anyway, after I made that, I went and did a search and I found this. And this one out here is pretty close to giving you everything you need. So you can come in here and you can put in your current age, when you expect to kick the bucket, the amount of Bitcoin you currently have, the annual amount you plan to buy, the annual growth rate. So that's this one down here. It's a slider. And if you listen to Michael Saylor, he says that it will eventually flatline out at around 30% ARR. It's currently on average at about 60%. Most analysts definitely believe 20 to 30 is a conservative amount that it will balance out at some stage. So this will allow you to put it at that price already. You can add in annual inflation. They defaulted to. We know that's a lie, so I put in at 10. And then your desired amount for retirement income. So this person will be able to retire in 13 years if they save $3,000 a month in BTC. That is what I put in, because right now I'm doing $100 a day in BTC and 25 in the USDC. So that's my current HODL rate. So that's where I came up with that. So obviously, depending on what you're able to save, this will change, but the chart shows you your BTC accumulation, and it's also based off of a calculation in the background of BTC's price increasing based off this annual growth rate. And then it says you'll be able to retire here at age 43, where you'll be able to take out your 150K worth of Bitcoin, because the price of Bitcoin at that stage will be high enough for you to retire off of. And then as Bitcoin continues to appreciate, you need less and less to pull out, because it's continuing to go up, and your retirement income and the inflation rate are not outpacing the growth rate, basically, is what that boils down to. Then I found this Medium post, how much Bitcoin. It was made in 2022. And it said in 2020, the median household was 67,000, and you needed at least 515K, but the average retiree only had about 200K in savings. And Gen Z workers will need about 7 million by the time they reach almost the age of 70. That is crazy. And it shows how much BTC you should have. If you're 25 years old, you'll need to have this amount by this years of age. I'm not going into detail, but I'm bringing all this up because the TLDR, the absolute smartest thing you can do, get the hell out of the United States. I love it to death. I served my country, and I enjoyed my time in the military, but it is just way too expensive, and it's only going to get more and more expensive. We see what's happening with the debt. That's in a runaway train, like Liz Alden says, nothing stops this train, and you're not going to be able to, like I say, you're not going to be able to, but the cost of living is going to continue to go up, and the living standards go down. And that is because we are the world reserve currency, and there is no middle class. So when you can vote with your dollars and move somewhere else, you'll find that the middle class in other countries live like the upper 10% in the United States. Like, it is amazing. So I did this comparison with Chiang Mai, Thailand. That's where I know a lot of people seem to be going right now in Thailand versus where I was in Cambodia. But what you can do when you look at this, do I already have it up? Colombia. Okay, I don't have it up. Let's click compare. And this is based off of individuals inputting their data, but it's the closest thing you'll be able to find over on Numbeo. I think it's one of the better sites. But anyway, it shows expenses for restaurants, for markets, transportation, blah, blah, blah. But what I really do is just come down here and look at the average salaries. So if this is the average salary for a person in Chiang Mai, then you know the living expenses are not much higher than that, because unlike the US, there is no debt-based system in most other countries. So if $800 is what they're getting, you can guarantee that for all their expenses, the average person is living below $800. They don't have credit cards that they're racking up. So if you want to live a really good life, 2x, 3x, you are living insane quality of life standards. So we can just round this up to 8, put that at 2,400. That is literally still 50% of living in Houston, and you're getting all the amenities. So make no mistake, when you move to these other countries, it is everything you're used to in the US or any other developed country, especially in the major cities. Only difference is they might speak a different language. So I bring that up because obviously this amount here will greatly impact what you need here. So let's use simple math and just bring this up to a conservative $1,500. So almost a double of this, just under a double. $1,500, which is $18,000 a year if you were living in Chiang Mai. So we keep everything else the same. And let's just say that this person still is able to be a digital nomad and bring in this amount. So they're spending or stacking twice as much as they're spending. And the inflation rate's not going to be nearly as high in other countries. We'll cut that in half. And we're keeping the annual growth rate. So basically this person will be able to retire immediately. At the next year, basically, they would be able to retire in another country versus whatever it was before, like I think like 7 years, something crazy like that, because the amount of money that's required and the increasing growth rate is so much different that it's you don't have to put off your retirement and kick the can down. So what I did is make my own kind of calculator here. So what it does, instead of using this desired, price annual growth rate, I actually took 3 different CSVs that are showing the historic price, monthly price appreciation and depreciation for Bitcoin, the cycle averages, and then projected going forward, which is a combination of the history and the cycles with the 30%, I think, ARR after like 2030 or something like that. And then the current BTC price, your current amount of holdings, monthly DCA amount, annual expenses. Then I added the loan because this is what Ledin is, but you could use like Morpho's amount, whatever the case may be. I think Ledin is like 12, 13. I'm just gonna round it to 14 we'll go to 15 just to make it more aggressive. And then forecasting however many years you want, right? So if I go projected, that's gonna use that conservative 30%. And what this allows me to do is show you the BTC holdings that you'll have, the amount needed for the expense, and you're taking out that loan. So you're taking out $18,000. So that's at that $1,500 mark that I was talking about for Chiang Mai, Thailand. And then this shows you your LTV amount. So the main reason I wanted to bring this up is because if you are a Bitcoin maxi or a Bitcoin bull, or you believe in Bitcoin, or you've done at least your 1,000 hours of Bitcoin, then you know that on a long enough time horizon, it does continue to go up. There will be some down days, some volatility, it goes down, but you will be able to outpace the downs as long as you continue to DCA. And if you have done what I said in the first part of the video, which you're living in a place where you can save a hell of a lot more than you spend. So you see here that the loan value goes up, obviously, because you're not making any payments on the loan. And then at the 1 year mark, you have to do this thing again, because obviously you want to fund your expenses for the year. So you now have This is shout out to Mystify. I've been trying to explain to him why you want to take out a loan on your Bitcoin and not spend it. And he only sees it from the purpose of using a loan to actually buy more Bitcoin. But this is in the case of literally being able to retire. Like, who does not want to enjoy their Bitcoin sooner rather than later? So in this example, you started with 0.37. You're buying $3,000 a month every month. By the time you need to reinvest, so to speak, or re-up your expenses here a year later in June of 2026, you have almost doubled your Bitcoin holdings. Bitcoin is up to 155K. You will take out a smaller amount for expenses. Why? Because Bitcoin is up, but you still need roughly the same amount, because in other countries, the inflation does not go up nearly as much as it does in the US. Now your loan is $39,000, but your LTV is only 37.9, 38. And it was at 44 because, again, your Bitcoin value is going up and versus in fiat terms as well as in Satoshis, whereas your cost of living in Bitcoin is going down. So we go all the way out to another year, 2027, same thing. We're going to take out another 20,000 loan here. We now almost have a whole Bitcoin, which we have not had to sell. We have 63,000 loan value, our loan in USD value, but our loan to value ratio is 33%. And this just continues to get better and better and better. So if we go all the way out to, let's just say 5 years from now, June of 2023, there we go, 2030, sorry, your loan LTV is 24%. So you would literally at this stage, if you really wanted to, be able to pay off the loan. Like, you'd be able to take out that additional unleadened 10% or so. It's not quite being able to pay it off, but you get my point, right? This is using, again, conservative values with Bitcoin and going all the way out to 10 years, and it just continues to depreciate. And if you use the historic values, which I don't think we're going to see again, but you had some crazy gains in the early time frames of Bitcoin. Let's recalculate. This is where like the 1000 X's and stuff like that came into play. Like, that's obviously not going to happen, but you can see that the LTV just drops to absolutely nothing. And if you use the cycle averages, it's still the same as well. So cycle averages take everything into effect. So obviously this doesn't show the volatility of where a big drop is, because these are all averages and projections based off of averages. So the only one that shows a drop is the historic, but there's so much price appreciation already built in the beginning. Like, you see it goes from 8 million BTC price to 30 million, but it won't affect your LTV at that stage. Like, it won't even matter. So the TLDR is that, yeah, you never want to sell your Bitcoin, because especially you can live off of it, take a loan out against it, and even at an aggressive 15% loan rate, which is higher than any of the loan platforms out there, BTC on average will probably double this ARR, and conservative will be at 20, which is still 5% more than that is. And as long as you still have a job, which I would highly recommend you do, and you're DCAing every month and still living within your means, you're not going out over your skis, as they say, and spending all of this extra. You're like, oh, I got, 5,000% available, I'm going to take out a bigger loan. No, you still would stay within your means, keep your LTV value low, and make sure that you continue to DCA. Then I think that you can ride this wave literally until the wheels fall off. And if you want to go to the next level of aggression, you take out a whole life insurance policy and take it out for the value of the loan at the end of your death, so to speak. $1 million loan, pays off the loan, and you will the remaining Bitcoin to your kids. I don't have any kids, so I'm just going to die with my Bitcoin. But yeah, you can create a calculator like this in ChatGPT or Claude or Grok or DeepSeek, or you can use the one out here on the website. But the only way this really works, in my opinion, is if you're willing to pack up and leave. Because without it, you're just going to need a shit ton more Bitcoin. And it's going to get harder and harder and harder to accumulate that much Bitcoin. Because, as we know, people are going to take less and less, or sell less and less and put it on exchanges. So let's just say the conservative person is able to buy 50,000 and then they are making 100K. That's a good salary in the US using that annual price target, and they would probably be in their 40s at this stage. You can see it's still going to take 9 years to get there, and you could do it much faster in another country. That's all I'm saying. So, and you're going to have to, in order to retire, you're going to need 2.76 Bitcoin. So that requires you spending 50K a year to buy Bitcoin. It's not impossible, but clearly a lot harder to get to than the other version that I mentioned here, which takes 1 year and you don't even need a whole Bitcoin. All right. Hope that gave you some clarity, gave you some hope on what is available out there. Use Numbeo and plot your escape to the next best place. All right, smash that HBO special, help brother out, like, subscribe, comment down below, and until next time, lift daily and achieve your impossible. Stay humble, stack sats, retire early. See you.